my position on a lot of things. I'm not one that always encourages for protest in Nigeria, because I always believe that when you protest, you are saying that the government cares. When you protest the government, you automatically are saying your government cares enough to listen when you are angry. You know, and I know that the Nigerian government doesn't care about anything, so except themselves. You know, so but for, you know, as I said, Power Mike is the three things that should come to anybody's mind when they hear Power Mike is dialogue, solidarity, and action. So why dialogue? Why solidarity? I mean, so this basically means that I understood from a very early stage of my engagement in the struggle that the Nigerian people are not truly class conscious. So there's no solidarity between the working class professionals and the poor people of this country. You know, the elites of Nigeria have found a way to create a divide, and that divide is called basically privatization. So what do? They defund public, let's use education for example. Our elites defund public education but create private education for the professionals. So professionals can send their kids to private school, they don't really care about the poor people's kids, they don't go into public school anymore. And they can't, you know, go to good schools that are public. Same thing they do in the healthcare, same thing they do with housing. The government refuses to create public housing, but they create expensive private real estate that professionals can rent, you know, while they are active. Because many people I grew up with in this, except we that our parents own houses in Ikeja. Even some of us that our parents own houses have been forced to sell those houses and move to the outskirts of Lagos. So one of the main things that I understand that would rebuild this bridge and create the solidarity between these different worlds. So that's why, you know, we said solidarity, because I believe that one of the things that we fail to understand as Nigerians is our class consciousness. And because for some reasons they've been able to use the institutions of influence to make being poor some kind of insults, you know, something that everybody sees as a stigma in Nigeria. So many people in Nigeria, even though they are poor, they even borrow money to act like they are not poor. Not to act rich, because they can't even afford to act rich, but they borrow money to pretend that they are not poor. You know, and I don't understand that. Poverty has become something in Nigeria that that, you know, has been used, you know, that's turned into some kind of stigma that is worse than being an armed robber. You know, in Nigeria, you can openly be a criminal, but you cannot openly be poor. Yes, you can openly be a criminal, but you cannot openly be poor. And so many narratives that they use against the poor people in this country to make us look down on poor people in this country, to act as if poor people are the problem of this country. You know, so all these narratives and stigma that goes to the poor people, that happen to the poor people of this country, I think that we must find ways to dissolve or dissipate from society. And how do we do that? Is by also raising the consciousness of the professionals themselves to say, look, there's no way the bad things that happen in Nigeria can happen without the help of the Nigerian professionals. Who helps the elites launder the money for education when they move out of the country? Who helps them to siphon the monies in the ministry if it's not the civil servants? Who helps them to launder money if it's not the bankers? Who helps them to destroy education if it's not the lecturers and the VCs? You know, who helps them to destroy transportation if it's not transportation professionals and things like that? There's also an acceptance of responsibility that must happen from our side as professionals to now say, okay, now we are willing to build that platform that will help elevate our less fortunate brothers and sisters. Because truly, the reason why we are fortunate, because trust me, anybody that is making it in Nigeria to some certain extent, you have a little car, you are renting a nice apartment, you are fortunate. And You are fortunate not because you should continue to accumulate those things. No. You are fortunate because you are supposed to end the conditions. You are supposed to be the ones to come together to end the conditions that are happening to our brothers and sisters in their multitude. And we continue to betray that because we do not also understand that anything you are as an African is as a result of sacrifice. To be a journalist, I always say when I'm talking, people always, I went to university and I said it to Ayaba Tech, right? It is important that as African people, we realize our role in the system. Capitalism used us as commodity. Our first engagement with capitalism was as commodity. And that is what capitalism wants black people to believe until today. That nothing about us is of value except it can be commodified. That's why when the gentleman there was talking about dignity, Nigerians are not given dignity by our ruling elite because it cannot be commodified. They were not meant to see it as something important because it cannot be commodified. Same as our culture. You understand? Only the aspect of our culture that they can sell. The fashion, the music, those things are easy to sell, that can be commodified, yes.
The body.
Exactly, So it is the conversations that will build the solidarity between the working class and the poor people of this country, the professionals and things like that.